Check out this archer. She absolutely would not die. I may be going to Builder Hall 4, but she's coming with me. Welcome back, fellow fans of Clash of Clans. It's your host, Galadon. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Yes, it is time to go from Builder Hall 3 to Builder Hall 4, and I've made a personal decision to rush it just a little bit, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes and see in the coming episodes whether or not it was the right decision. In the meantime, let's take a look at some attack replays. Mature Builder Hall 3s, mostly what I'm running into, occasional Builder Hall 4s. The matchmaking system is primarily based upon your village strength, although there also is a safeguard for brand new players to keep them from getting matched up with much higher level players. So trophies and village strength, there seems to be some discussion about how much weight is given to each. But for the most part, between 900 and about 1,350 trophies as a Builder Hall 3, this is about what I was facing. So right here, the Giants didn't get through the wall, but they did tank long enough that the archers grabbed 2 stars, and that was almost always enough for me to win a versus battle. We'll take a look at my defensive setup before we move on as well, so you can see why I was grabbing so many easy wins right here. Most players not getting over 40% on my base. Now this opponent has the internal crusher, but again, I'm just going to bring a pair of giants. A little bit risky there. The spring trap would have cost me, but the giants are going to distract the other defenses in the area, and the idea here was to try to get these archers on the right-hand side to take out the crusher, and there they go. Focused on the crusher, they are going to get the crusher down just in time. Right as the giants get through that wall, the crusher goes down. They are able to move on to other defenses in the area. Again, continually protecting the archers. One giant to the spring trap, but the other giant lasted long enough. The archers get the town hall down. Another 2-star and another solid percentage right here, more than enough to grab me the victory. Alright, so let's pop back home for a couple of seconds here. Check it out. You can see I have upgraded the double cannon. I'm going to work on upgrading my cannons as well. Archer tower to level 3. I'm not going to touch the Tesla or the crusher or most of my walls, but I am going to make sure I max out the troops that I use all the time. And right now it's the archer. Definitely want her maxed out before we move on. I think that's probably the most important thing is troops. Obviously, with versus battles, defense very critical as well, but this base layout has been paying dividends, working out really well, so we're going to stick with this, upgrading a few more defenses, but again, not maxing everything out just a bit. We'll be doing the rushing, and we'll see if it pays off or not. Now, here's an example of a typical attack on my base. People seem to think that maybe if they just pick off outer structures with beta minions, with archers, they're going to grab the win. But we've got enough defenses that are on the perimeter of that wall that there's not a lot of free structures to pick off. And the typical defense kind of looked like this, between 25 and 40% damage done to the base. Once again, these archers get smashed by the bombs there behind the storages, and the golden elixir storages acting like a second wall right behind the builder's hall, helping to slow units down on their way. And those single cannons, although they don't provide the double cannon firepower, they have that super long range ability, and there they pick off every archer behind the builder's hall. This guy still had 6 archers left, but he drops them all down here. They're only going to get through a couple of additional structures. They can't quite get the builder's hall down thanks to the archer tower, the other cannon, and the Tesla. And once again, they walk away with 0 stars, 36% damage. Now, over and over again, I was attacked by mass archers or mass beta minions, and I have to admit it was a little bit disappointing because I had this great little troll trap set up in the opening of the wall there with the push traps, with the spring traps as well, and 90% of the time they avoided that, and maybe that's because it's kind of obvious what's happening there. Occasionally people would rush, get through the storages behind the builder's hall, and take that one out for the first star. But like you saw in those other attacks, if I'm able to grab 2, that's almost always going to grab me the victory. So obviously this is so different than the original, the home village in Clash of Clans. where you mostly just have to worry about offense. Defense, super critical here, and that's why rushing may be a costly mistake, but I will go ahead and be the guinea pig as I go to Builder Hall 4 very shortly and long before we max out our defenses and walls. Alright, so here's another attack. I really liked this base because it's hard to tell where the traps are going to be, and the only way you could test it would either be with a giant or if you use an entire camp of barbarians. Very costly when you only have 3 camps at Builder Hall 3. I got lucky right here. The giants all get in towards the interior of this base without getting sprung off the map. That's one of the reasons I brought 2 camps of giants instead of 1, and they are continuing to tank. Those big old level 4 giants doing a great job. Archers picking everything off. You can see the far left of the base. No long-range defense over there, and it really looks like these archers are going to get through the Builder's Hall. The cannon, it's got 3 archers left. Wait a minute, 2 archers. No, come on, get the... Oh, man, I mean, come on. That was so close. This other archer is going to get down the elixir collector, and that's going to be it. But that Builder's Hall, man, a strong breeze would have blown it over. 65% 1-star, though, was enough to grab the victory. So the key to offense at Builder's Hall 3, pretty much for me, 90% of the time was giants and archers. Either 1 camp of giants and 12 archers, or like you see here, 2 camps of giants and just 6 archers. Here, again, I was fearing the spring trap, and sure enough, I lost 1 giant early, but that's why I brought 2 camps. If I only had 1 giant left right here, I think this attack would have been in a lot of trouble. Instead, I had 3 giants left, and watch as they tank that archer tower. The archers get sprung into the base, but not onto the crusher, so the giants able to continue to tank. Almost every archer is still alive. 5 out of 6 are still going strong. There goes the Builder's Hall. Lots of defenses going down. And as you can see, if you can avoid the crusher or take the crusher out from a distance, it works out really well. Here, we can't quite get the crusher down before the giant gets there, and we're not going to grab the 3-star, but we do come relatively close. Again, avoiding the crusher is key at Builder Hall 3, or using ranged units like archers, like the beta minion if you can, to pick it off dependent upon the base design. This archer does a great job of upping the percentage, but she's not my best archer ever. That one is still coming. As you can see, she is going to last forever on this village because she's out of range of the shorter range double cannon, and that works out really well. That's obviously something you want to account for, the range distance between the double cannon and the single cannon. She is not going to get through that camp though. There she goes, one-shotted, but a significantly high percentage, 83% 2-star, easy win. Alright, so here we go. Builder Hall 3, time to go to 4. We're working on the last level of barbarians in the lab right there. We're going to go ahead and upgrade a few walls, although not all of the walls, to level 2. We're going to spend that gold elsewhere, and we're not going to, again, like I mentioned earlier in the episode, upgrade the Crusher or the Tesla. So, is this a mistake? Obviously, we will be a little bit vulnerable on defense, but so many structures become available at Builder Hall 4, so it's tough not to rush. We'll see how this works out, you guys. I definitely want to unlock that clock tower. The boost simply in resources right there is huge. So less than 24 hours to go, and we will be at Builder Hall 4. Alright, so one more attack replay, and this was an example of the most heroic archer I have ever seen in the Builder's base. Now, obviously, I have finished upgrading my barbarians and trying them out. They're pretty strong, especially if you use that rage ability. You've got to make sure you deploy them close to structures and far from the crusher so that you can use that first few seconds of their rage to take down structures. But that's the archer. Watch her closely as she helps support these units inside the village from the outside of the walls. The last giant just about to go down. The cannon is going to fall. She's still okay. Working her way around the outside of the base. Watch right here as she's just barely out of range of that last cannon. So she's got plenty of time. She's going to work on this elixir storage. But as soon as she takes out the elixir storage, she will path within range of the cannon. But not for long. Ready? Here she goes. Here comes the cannon. Focused on her. fires one shot, she gets out of the way again and wanders around and starts working on the gold storage. So yes, she is amazing. She is a little stud. And we also know, though, that when she finishes the gold storage and goes after the camp next, she will certainly be within range of the cannon. And that's where she had a little bit of help from the defender. Check this one out. Nice push trap. Pushes her out of range of the cannon. You even saw the cannon retarget. It was aiming for her. It did not have time to fire. She gets off one more structure. 73% damage. My most heroic archer ever. And another win, closing in on 1,400 as we go to Builder Hall 4. So that's going to do it, you guys. Wish me luck as we go to 4 a little bit early. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on notifications so you get that early update and sneak peek information. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and remember, don't ever let anybody get you down. See you tomorrow. Full attack.
Are you premature? That explains a lot.